Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannons. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to your Thursday night broadcast here on SRW TV. Tonight we bring to you round 3 of the Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals. Tonight we are hosted at the Red Bull Ring, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Tonight you have myself, Nathan ShiBBy Howard, and a special guest with us in the comms box tonight, a fellow driver of the Sim Racing World League, Mr. Tyley Sheaf. Good evening, sir.
G'day, Shivy. How have you been, mate?
Been good, mate. Been good. How about yourself? Been seeing you get out there on the track and having some races.
Yeah, I've been good. I just need to learn to drive a little bit more consistent, and I might get better results. But no, I've been having fun out there, mate.
And that's what it's all about here in the SRW League, is having fun and enjoying yourself, which is what we're hopefully going to see tonight here at the Red Bull Ring in our Toyota GR86 series. This is a super sprint series, which means 3 20-minute races back to back to back. First race will go off qualifying, where they start on the grid. Second race will be a reverse top 10 for grid positions, and the feature and third race will be a reverse top 5. We have seen some absolute fantastic racing through our GR86 series so far. Bathurst was absolutely off the chain. If you do want to go check out all our previous races, head on over to YouTube after this broadcast and check out what else we have broadcasted every week. So far, we have a very hot temperature of 41 degrees during the practice session. It is 10:30 in the morning, so it'll be interesting to see if that goes up or down, but that is a blistering track temp. It is looking like 39 degrees out on the track tonight, or this morning, I should say. And hopefully, our drivers are well prepared for what's in store. Very short, very quick track. Should make some fantastic racing here in the 86s.
I'm definitely looking forward to tonight, mate. It's a unique track. I'm normally used to the long one at Red Bull Ring. It is one of my favourite tracks to race on, but the G86s, they're going to enjoy the nice short tracks, and it'll be interesting to see who can make the most out of it.
Definitely, mate. They are definitely suited to a shorter format. We did run a 60-minute format last season, and because these cars heavily rely on the draft, we saw a lot of splitting up over the field. Now we've shortened that race format. These cars seem to sit on top of each other throughout the whole race.
Definitely like to be next to each other and as close as possible. It would be interesting to see how much of a draft you can gain on the main straight. It is the longest straight on the track, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether these boys want a bit more on the corners or a bit more on the main straight.
Definitely, mate. I think corners are going to be where our overtakes are going to be seen here tonight. And talking about our drivers, I just want to touch base on our points at the moment. Our points leader in P1 right now is Callan Hodgkinson from Crisscross Racing on 334 points, followed by Mr. John Not ShiBBy McHenry in second place on 329 points. Third place, Bruce White under LMR Esports, now sitting on 321 points. There is only 13 points that separate P3 from P1, so this is going to be some great racing tonight.
Definitely interesting to see what these boys are going to do along the journey for this season. But last week's result, we did race at Bathurst. In the feature, we had Mark Turner who took out the victory. Callan Hodgkinson followed behind him, and John McHenry finished in P3. P4 and P5 was followed by Daniel Fruit and Toddy Wilborn, but I think those two boys are not in tonight, unfortunately. And looks like a few other boys have a chance to gain some points in the championship.
That's what it's all about. Consistency. You don't need to be on the podium to finish in the championship. Consistent racing, as we saw last season from Mr. John McHenry, with only one podium finish and then sat in the top 5 for the rest of the season. Still managed to take out second in the championship. And it is very unfortunate that Mr. Toddy Thurlburn's not here tonight, because he had a phenomenal drive in Bathurst, finished 5th twice and 8th once, and really did rack himself up some points last week. But we do have a pretty good field of drivers tonight. Lots of points on offer as we head into round 3. And I do look forwards to seeing what these guys out here can put down tonight. Greggy Leake has joined us in the broadcast. Good evening, sir. I hope you are doing well, Leakey. We miss seeing you and hearing you out here in our Discord, as we are one big community family. 280 drivers and growing. So if you want to get involved with Sim Racing World, head to www.simracingworld.com.au. Register for a driver as a driver for absolutely free. And then head on over to our Discord and come join the family. Get to meet some of our awesome drivers. Plenty of people out here that are happy to give tips and pointers if you are extremely new to sim racing. I know I've copped a few pointers off Mr. Leak himself in the F3s, and a few other guys always willing to lend new drivers a hand.
Yeah, definitely a massive learning curve, you know, when someone jumps into the racing car for the first time. I know it's not real life, but this is as close as we can get. And it can be very daunting and, you know, very confusing on how to approach the corner or approach the car, you know. So these boys who are a bit more experienced than a few other people, they're willing to help you out.
That they are, mate, and you would know all about that coming from a dirt ovals driver out into some track work. So it's been great to see you progress over the years, over the season, sorry, as we head into our racecraft qualifying session, and all our Toyota GR86 drivers will head out onto the track for their first out lap, and then those times will start rolling in. Let's get that track map up. So car number 55, Bruce White, will lead the field out into the first hot lap. Surprised more guys didn't jump out of the pits as quick as Bruce, because using the draft in these cars is highly beneficial even during qualifying to help you get a quicker time.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what the strategies are. I think there's only a handful of teammates out there, so I definitely know that they will be wanting to work as a team to make sure that they can all see Brennan Shaper off the track just then. But yeah, they'll be wanting to work as a team to get as quick as possible and high up the field, because I know that the position at the front will be very handy once the race starts.
Indeed it will. Teamwork makes the dream work in almost every situation, and we've seen that across all our series with teammates working together to move through the field or stop the field from catching up to them or getting past. Oh, as we see Jason Douglas from LMRE get a little bit unstuck there and put it into the wall. Not the greatest start to qualifying. First time we've seen Jace out here tonight in the 86s. Has been doing extremely well in the AMs. And Wayne Edwards goes around as well. This track being quite warm. Let's get that temperature up there and see what it's like in qualifying right now. 38 degrees track temperature. That is going to be tough. It is going to be slippery, and it's not going to be fun in these light rear-wheel drive 86s.
Yeah, fortunately I think the track is slowly cooling down since the practice session first opened up. So these boys out here, they'll be slowly getting a bit more pace on their tyres, you know, and on the car later on in qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see who can make and break the track temperature.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be key. See who can control the temp in their tyres. Sliding out is not going to help anybody at this point. They're going to want to try and keep their tyres as cool as possible. Any sort of sliding or aggressive movements on those tyres is only going to help them heat up and actually lose grip. You would think a nice hot sticky tyre would give grip, but at this point with track temperatures so high, it becomes a slippery mess of rubber. As we see.
Yeah. You see my price on the screen. I did learn a big lesson today, and that is not to burn your tyres when it's cold. It actually makes it a lot more worse out there for you as a driver. So yeah, just make sure your first 2 laps are nice and controlled. Don't burn your tyres up too much, otherwise you're just going to struggle out there on track.
No one set a time just yet. They are starting to flow through. John McHenry on a flying out lap. I think he's getting ready to put in one quick lap. A lot of purples, a lot of greens. Oh, you know, it'd help if we actually showed it. There we go. Times are flowing in. Jake Edwards is in provisional P1 with a 58.9. A blistering lap for him. John McHenry slotted in really nicely behind him. 59.3. Dan Bartouche with a 59.6. And Ryan Price in the Bluey Mobile with a 59.7. So you can already see these guys are going to be extremely close to each other as this race kicks off tonight after the 15 minutes of qualifying, thanks to Racecraft.
Yeah, I'm very surprised with Jake Edwards, the first one to get into the 58 seconds. I thought the track would be still a little bit too warm, but it looks like it's cooled down enough for these boys to have the opportunity to be as quick as possible in this qualifying session. You should see a few others go across the field. We've got Greg Johnson slotting to P8, Colin Hodgson up to P5, so they're slowly getting used to the track and trying to make as much pace as possible out there.
Yeah, you'd think a hot track would sort of slow these guys down. I actually sort of expected some of the drivers to treat this like a top 10 session. Go out, do a warm-up, do one quick hot lap, and then head back to pits for a fresh set of tyres to try and get that temp back down in a new set and see how they go again. But most of these guys are staying out. Jason Douglas comes across, slots himself up into P3 with a 59.4. Really good lap there from the young gun, Jason.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see who's playing what strategy. Either they have low qualifying fuel or just a full 15 minutes and they think that they're going to get quicker and quicker by the end of it. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the next 10 minutes, but see, Callum once again improved on his lap and peeped Ryan back into P5. So see the
drive from Callan from the Crisscross Racing team. Still got two guys out there. Mark Turner and Steven Sinkovich haven't been able to set a time in yet, as we see Callan with the big slide. The problem with these 86s, once they kick out like that, good luck getting a hold of it and getting it back in a straight line.
Yeah, he'll be making sure he lowers his fuel limit before he goes back out there, because he knows he's only got 9 minutes left to go. You should see Kevin out there on the field at the moment. Only in the 1.9 at the moment, so hopefully improve this lap. It's all green. And got him, 1.478 seconds there, so improved by 2 positions, but just not in the 59 seconds yet. As you see, Steven Sinkovich going to P8 with a 1 minute .143, so good luck there for him.
Top 10 already. Look at the man go. All he's got to do is keep it on track for the rest of the night and he might have a great finish.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just got to make sure you don't make a mistake. If you don't make a mistake, you usually can finish in a really good position. But once you start having to spin there or an off track there, you start slowly tripping behind the field. So you see Mark Turner tripping up into P10. So good to see him getting quicker out there.
Red Bull Ring definitely seems to be a bit of a favourite. Yeah, across the field of sim racing and real life racing, it's quite a well-travelled track, I would say.
You're definitely not wrong about that. It is a very good track, it's fun. And obviously played on the Formula 1 game in the Formula 1 car. Had a race in the Formula 3. Earlier it was SRW. And yeah, had loads of fun with this track, and just unfortunately it doesn't pop up enough for my liking, but it's good to see these boys out here having fun out at Austin Ring.
And if you have a look up in the Discord lounge chat as well, majority of the drivers out there on track are all hanging out in the Discord together. Regardless of team or who they're racing for, they're all just hanging out in Lounge 1 together, having an absolute blast. And we've seen that and seen how much fun they're having over the last 2 rounds. So I definitely think they're going to keep that up. The 86s are a bunch of fun to drive. A really good entry-level car for getting into rear-wheel drive racing. I know I've enjoyed my time behind them out in the officials. And these guys definitely enjoy getting out there together and having a chat and having a race.
I definitely remember my first experience in the GR86s. And one of them was a race at Bathurst with 50 plus cars. It was the same, and I still remember the first lap. I'm very confident I saw 20 cars upside down, you know, and everyone's just having a ball, you know. It's just a fun car to drive, especially now that you can really push it to the limit. And yeah, it's interesting to see how much further these boys can take it.
Well, we will find out in just over 5 minutes when the racecraft qualifying session does end. I'd like to take this quick moment to shout out all the people that help us put on these broadcasts and keep this league running. Starting off with, of course, all of you who come and enjoy our broadcasts and enjoy watching these drivers take to the track 5 nights a week. So thank you so much for all the support you have given us here at SRW TV. Of course, the drivers will come next. Huge shout out to all our drivers across all our series. Massive thanks to them for coming out every night and putting on a great show, having a good fun time, and racing with each other. And last but not least, of course, we can't forget all our sponsors that help us do all of this fantastic work behind the scenes. Tonight, Shannons is our Toyota GR86 Nationals sponsor. Round sponsor is Warren and Brown Tools. Safety car is sponsored by the promo department. Fastest lap pole position in qualifying is by Racecraft. And thanks to all our other stream sponsors, Grim Industries, home of the V8 coffee table, temptingsweets.com.au, Rare Spares, Rare Spares and Simrigs. Huge shout out to all of them. If you want any more information on our sponsors and what they can do, all the links are in the description below.
Yeah, as you're going through all the supporters of the league, we've got Jake Everett still in the lead at the moment, but John McHenry is closely sneaked into P2 with a 59.296 and squeezing down out of the first row. So it'll be interesting to see right now to see Jake Everett behind his teammate. Or is he in front of his teammate?
He's in front of his teammate, yeah,
and,
right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much time Callan can gain in this lap as we follow on board with him. Coming around the second corner now. Nice and tight. Hit the apex really well. One left from the third corner. Follow your teammate. It's the fourth corner there, so he's turning up to turn 5 now. So there's only 6 corners in this track. Interested to see how much time he gains here. Hit the apex really well. There's not a 1X there, so that's pretty good. Last corner. Followed him through. Unfortunately, the first sector was orange, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. It's green. But not quick enough. Just slower than his personal best.
Yeah, not far off that faster time. Definitely using that ability to have his teammate in front, breaking that air and keeping that draft going. Good evening, J-Mac. Hand pink waving, hand pink waving, hand pink waving, hand pink waving. And a huge hand pink waving back to you too, sir. Good luck this evening, mate. It should be a phenomenal super sprint race. I am loving this format. We also trialled it in the V8 supercars last week. We saw the Simrigs AM drivers take a super sprint series as well as the Pro AM. Oh, nearly big collision in qualifying. He's managed to pull that up right before he heads into the pits. That is one way to enter the pits.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there. I'm not 100% sure if they're on track to beating their personal best, but there goes their qualifying. That's Ryan Price's improved his lap time into P6 to 59.4. That is very impressive there, just behind Jason Douglas in P5.
Speaking of Jason Douglas, he's just dropped into the stream tonight as well. Good evening, Jason. Good luck tonight, mate. Always got eyes on you as one of the upcoming drivers, mate, doing a fantastic job in the V8s. So good to see an LMR esports car out here on the track for the 86s as well. Thanks, Anne, for dropping in. She has said good luck. I'm sure she means that to all our drivers out on track here tonight. I'm already running out of voice.
No, we just started, mate.
Just started. All right, I'm going to stop talking for a while now. I'm going to put my mic on mute, and it's all you, Sheafy.
No, there's only 30 seconds left in qualifying. I don't believe many drivers can set a lap at the moment. So Kevin Wakefield is the last one to come across the start-finish line, and it wasn't an improvement. So
he will be the last.
This will be done and done though for this qualifying session, as the time has just hit the 15 minute.
And that will end the racecraft qualifying session tonight. We'll get those results locked in place. Jake Edwards from Crisscross Racing will take out your racecraft best lap and pole position this evening for round 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. John McHenry for Locked On Racing will lock in P2, and Dan Batouche for the ETS Motorsport will lock in P3. As we move on over to the grid, Callan Hodgkinson will sit next to Dan Batouche on row 2. Jason Douglas and Ryan Price will be on row 3. Bruce White and Mark Turner for K-Tech Motorsport will be in row 4. Stephen Sinkovich, Wayne Edwards, row 5. Kevin Wakefield and Greggy Johnston in row 6. Brendan Soper will hold up the back of the league, and Greg Barber is our race control this evening. Huge shout out to our race control. They do a fantastic job every night of the week as we are getting ready to grid.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who can get a good start off the 86s. Unfortunately, these cars are very difficult to launch from the get-go, so it'll be interesting to see if a few drivers can make and break a couple of positions here.
Yeah, they definitely seem to bog down a lot. They don't have such a great launch because they're very minimal torque in these cars, but it always does make for a good show on the start. We are waiting for Callan Hodgkinson to make it to the grid.
We see John McHenry flashing his headlights at us.
How dare you flash us, John? How dare you?
10 seconds to go.
Callan is now on the grid. Our drivers are get set, ready to go. Racing tonight here for round 3 at the Red Bull Ring, thanks to Shannons Insurance. Lights are counting down. It's a 3, 2, 1. Green lights are racing. Really clean start off the line from all the drivers so far. Everybody is going to bunch together. Probably want to move over to that left-hand side to try and get around the corner the smoothest. John McHenry was sort of locked in there. Jake Edwards has got a whole shot out, and he is already pulling away from the field. While we focus on Dan Batouche, John McHenry and Jason Douglas. Batouche on the brakes really heavy there. Got John McHenry to pull himself up just a little bit as the field comes through as well. Bruce White and Ryan Price are trying to go side by side. They haven't left each other's side since the word go. This could be a battle worth watching tonight.
There's a terrific launch from Jake Everett, making sure that he has a big gap to the cars behind him, as they're obviously fighting it out for P2. As you see, a car just slowly off before the last corner, but they keep it nice and clean to see.
Callan Hodgkinson has had a slide, then there's contact. J-Max in the wall.
That's damage there, surely, on the front end.
Not a good start from the race. Unfortunate turn of events. Callan has dropped from first from a slight mistake and then a little bit of contact and he's in the wall, and he's gone from P1 all the way down to P13 within the first lap here. Wayne Edwards and Greg Johnson. Wayne Edwards taken in there really nice and tight. Johnson's going to get a better run out of here for taking it nice and wide and keeping it clean. Might allow Johnson to get back on the back of Edwards without too much of an issue. We will jump back to some highlights soon to find out what actually happened with Callan after that beautiful whole shot start to get himself out into that lead.
I think his teammate Everidge was in the lead. Callum started in P4 and was fighting for P3 at the time when that incident happened.
Quick replay thanks to SRW. Callan is here on his own. Oh, at this point.
Oh, so Henry had a little bit of contact with Douglas, which allowed Hodgkins to go on the outside of him. And
a little bit of overlap. That's all it takes. Sorry, it was Jake Edwards that got the whole shot out and held P1. It was actually not Callan. But unfortunately for Callan, he has dropped back down to P12 while we see Steven Sinkovic on the back of the bluey machine of Ryan Price.
Very good to see Ryan Price in P5 and making sure he's in front of Steve. It's good to see that.
Race control has decided incident between cars 28 and 117. No further action. So that was Callan Hodgkinson and John McHenry, the replay we saw on screen just a second ago. Closest battles right now. Steven Sinkovic, he has Mark Turner right on the back of him. Mark Turner is going to get down the side of him. That K-Tech Motorsport car looking absolutely fantastic. Will take the corner a lot tighter, but that allows Steven Sinkovic to get a better run off the corner and start putting a space between him and Mark again. But I'm sure Mark is going to come back at him as Steve covers off the corner really nicely there.
Yeah, that allowed two drivers of Kevin and Wayne to catch up to them as well. So, and also it allowed Ryan Price to gain a couple of seconds away from them as well, which is good for him.
Yeah, Ryan's going to want that clean air. Great battle pack starting to form here. This is battle for P6 with Sinkovic, Turner, Wakefield, Edwards and Johnston. And you can see Ryan Price really starting to push that gap out in front of them now. He wants to get away from this battle pack as far as possible so he doesn't get drawn into the drafting going on behind him.
And a very good lap from him as well in the 1.2 second, the 1 minute and 0.2 seconds. To Jake Evans, currently in P1. Unfortunately, must have a bit of an error because Gam Patisse and Jay Douglas is right behind him now. So something must have happened while we were watching the battle behind.
Can't see anything on my end, mate, but Dan Bartouche is going to put the car on the outside here as they come streaming down the straight. Bartouche in the inside lane, Edwards out wide. Bartouche is going to have to keep it nice and close. You can see how far they can go off this track and get right out on the outside lane there. Bartouche is going to make the move and pull in front of Douglas. Douglas now on the back of Edwards. Edwards must be struggling.
Douglas had a really good exit in that last corner.
And the draft as well from both Bartouche and Edwards, and Douglas is going to slot himself in front of Edwards as well. Really nice clean overtakes there. These lads making it look way too easy.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre, you know. Edwards was a pretty quick driver and just for some reason losing a little bit of pace to the cars in front of him. So it'll be interesting to see if he can recover in the next 15 minutes.
I reckon it may have just been all that draft there, mate. I think because he was at the front originally, he was getting drafted by both Douglas and Bartouche, and that's just caused him to fall off the pace a little bit. We jump back to see Wayne Edwards and Kevin Wakefield. Kevin is now going to show the nose to Wayne. Nothing he can do there, not quite close enough yet. Still plenty of time to go in this race though. We'll be jumping back up on board with Jason Douglas as Edwards is right on his tail now. They are both on top of Bartouche. This is where that drafting comes into play. You got 3 cars all heavily drafting off the lead car right now. And Bartush's car is going to be feeling those 2 cars behind him.
I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen here. These boys got 3 races tonight, all 20 minutes, and well, the first race is in the top 10, so I'd say if you're in front of the pack by this much, you might as well work together, get as much points as possible, and you know, save the racing for the second and third race.
But there is points to be gained, mate. Points to be gained.
I'd rather be in it doing it all 3 races than unfortunately been it in the first race.
It looks like Greggy Johnson has just passed 2 people back to back to move up into P8. Something must have happened, or he's got a really great run. Here we go now, down the straight, up next to Kevin Wakefield right now. Down past Kevin Wakefield, on the brakes there, into the corner, gets the move done by Wakefield. Oh, we see Wayne Edwards get wiggling. And that must give Johnston the run down here into turn 2. And it does. Johnson going in really nice and tight, keeping it nice and close on the curb there, and will get that move done past Wayne Edwards. Great driving there from Greg Johnston, wearing teal for Tourette's.
That's a very good effort from Greg there. Nice overtake. He set the move up very well there. As you see, Jake Everett still following behind Douglas in P3. He's trying the most he can to try and get in front of these boys, but struggling a little bit. And those 3 as well, all 3 of them had a 59.7 second lap, so that's just incredible there.
They are extremely on top of each other. These guys really stretching out that gap now to Bruce White. 1.4 seconds behind in P4 right now. So these guys here are really making a dominant push to stay the top 3. Points are on offer across all 3 races, so I don't think they're going to want to stay in this line for too long. It could be one of those, I need to bide my time and wait for the 2 in front to make a mistake. We'll see what Jake Edwards does. Can he get a lap of the gods?
Yeah, it's good to see that Dan's very comfortable here at Red Bull Ring. You know, I have raced him a couple of times at other tracks, and sometimes a little bit up and down, unfortunately. Just a bit unlucky, as you see him defending Douglas into the first corner. Douglas is on the inside and outbroke him as well. See, Dan. Oh, no, the run from Everett. Yeah, that up perfect with 2 in 1.
He is going to get them both.
Good setup there.
Oh.
He knew that the boys were going too shallow in that corner. He just took that nice and wide, make sure he had the exit speed. Beautiful move. Douglas on the inside trying to fight back to Edwards for the lead, which also allowed Dan to slowly creep back up as well. This is a really good battle for first place.
I think this is where most of the battle is going to be done tonight. 3 really clean drivers as Douglas really got a good line out of there. That's going to cause Edwards to have to stay out far left, and again Dan Bartush is on the line, on the back of Edwards again.
But this not only we see these 3 boys here as well, Bruce White has caught up as well
Bruce
in the battle pack as well.
This is going to become one. Oh, there looks like to be a bit of contact.
Oh no! Bruce had nowhere to go.
And that's put Douglas and Bartush into the wall. And that means Jake Edwards will take P1 at this point. With Bruce White in behind, and Ryan Price in the Bluey machine will slot into P3. We will have to wait and see what race controls say about that incident as we get an onboard display of what's actually happened here. See Bartush behind. Bartush into the back of Douglas, which then unsettles his teammate Bruce White. That is an unfortunate racing incident there. That is going to happen when you are racing this close and battling that hard. That now moves Mark Turner into P4. Steven Sinkovic into the top 5. He's got to be cheering with that, but Dan Bartush still on track. A little bit of damage on the front of that car. Hopefully it doesn't slow him down too much, because we know he's got the pace to catch back up. Maybe not to P1, but he could definitely make a few more positions, and we can just see Sinkovic, Turner and Price not far down the road in front of him as we jump back to Johnston with Edwards on his tail.
Yeah, it's good to see Greggy slowly going up the field, which is good to see. He's also defending really well to Edwards, making sure that he doesn't get overtaken easily. He's defending the right lines, not leaving too much room for him to sneak your nose in. See Ray Edwards just trying to find a way around him. Coming into the 5th corner, it'll be interesting to see what line he decides to pick here. Backed out a bit.
Well, you can see Johnson get on the brakes a lot later than Edwards there. Edwards dropped off. Yeah, you saw Edwards drop off as Greggy got on those brakes. Oh, there is a battle happening between Price and Mark Turner now, which has also got Sinkovic on the back of them. Price and Sinkovic going to take the outer line, and that's going to get them a great run on Turner. Price and Sinkovic. No, Sinkovic dropped off. Price kept pushing forwards. He wanted to take that battle to Mark Turner then, and I think he does still.
And also as well, race control has come back, and unfortunately car number 95 in that contact, he's got a drive-through penalty, unfortunately. So I know it's harsh because we love close racing, but unfortunately that happens from time to time.
That's right, if he has caused an incident, then there is driving penalty. So that is Dan Batouche, driver of the car 95, will be getting a drive-through penalty.
You see Ryan Price off the screen at the moment, still in P4, still behind Turner, so he's still got a chance to finish on the podium in the first race. I don't think he was expecting a chance on the podium in the first race tonight, but he's looking forward to it, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. He's a new up-and-comer in the sim racing world and in sim racing all across the board. He's extremely new to it, and he's making leaps and bounds every week that we see him take to the track, as Wayne Edwards is still trying to hunt down the back of Greg Johnson. Johnson doing a great job of positioning his car in the right places to make it extremely hard.
Yeah, you can be a fast driver, but if you don't have the racecraft to overtake, and then unfortunately you get stuck behind certain cars who can defend really well. As we see here, Johnson is keeping Edwards right behind him. A lot of pressure, but he's doing the right thing, making sure he's defending the right lines. So we'll see Edwards got his quickest lap of the race so far, so Bruce White slowly catching up to him, but with 5 minutes to go, I'm intrigued to see if there could be a change for first place. This is the battle right now for P4, pretty close to home.
Jake Edwards has got a really nice lead at the moment, 1.4 seconds to Bruce White and 7.5 seconds to Mark Turner. So the only person Jake Edwards has to worry about right now is Bruce White. We can see him. He is very, very close, closing that gap ever so slightly onto the back of Edwards. But with only 5 minutes left to go of Heat 1 here tonight, does he have the time to catch the back of Edwards? Last laps coming through now. Bruce White has done a 59.55 and Edwards did a 59.68. So Bruce White is slowly chipping away that time at Edwards, and you can see him approaching the back of him closer and closer. Mark Turner now getting hassled by Ryan Price and Steven Sinkovic. This could turn into a battle for P3 for some of the most unexpected people I would have thought to see battling out for P3. Come on, Steven.
See, Ryan just hit apex really well there. Good exit. He's keeping all on the back of the bumper of Turner. He's got a good opportunity to here just to set up a move on the main straight. They're going through the second last corner now. Going out wide, coming in. A little bit out wide there, but no 1X, which is good to see. Good exit. But yeah, no, it looks like Turner's done a really good job making sure that he didn't lose too much time. But the draft will slowly set Ryan Price up for a move, hopefully. Maybe back out a little bit.
A lot of it does come down to how well you can brake into these corners. Later braking can actually gain you a lot of time in these cars. As soon as you start...
Because unfortunately mine looks a little bit uncomfortable coming into the first corner, just braking just a tad bit earlier more than any other driver, so hopefully you just get a little bit more confident in yourself and you might be able to stick a move.
I do hope so, mate. 4 minutes left to go here for Heat 1.
Talking about close, Edwards is now only 0.8 seconds in front of Bruce White, so...
Oh, Steven Sinkovic as well, right on the back of Price now. Price had a bit of a wiggle. Now let's put Steven right on the back of him. Will Steven try and make this move? He does have the space. He does have the speed. He is going to show the nose. And he's going to tuck back in straight away. Just trying to get Ryan a little unsettled to see if he can take on that driver in the Bluey machine. But you are right, Bruce White is starting to close that gap on Jake Edwards now. It was a 1.4 second gap. Now it's down to 0.83. So we will see what Mr. Bruce White can do here, hounding the back of the crisscross driver, Mr. Jake Edwards. Can use so much of this track here at Red Bull Ring. A lot of tracks, as soon as you get off that green, you'd be getting 1Xs. But Red Bull Ring is really quite lenient on how far you can take and how much of the track you can use. John McHenry back out on track after that earlier incident. Back down in P11, battling with Brendan Soper right now. Any position game for Mr. McHenry at the moment, sitting in P2 in the championship, is only going to help him as he gets around Soper. But Soper looking like to come back at him. No, he won't. He'll tuck back in. And McHenry will take that position away from Soper.
Yeah, that put McHenry on pole position for race number 2 if he finishes in P10 right now. So I think that's a good recovery from him after that big incident and a bit of car damage. But he's came back and recovered really well for P10.
He has, because he was in the pits for 43 seconds. So when the lap times are only punching in at 59, that's a long time to be in the pits.
Yeah, that's definitely almost a whole lap. So he's very fortunate to be on the lead lap. As we see, Sinkovic all on the back of Ryan Price. He's trying to put him under pressure here. He's gone on the inside. He's tried to brake late. He's gone in. Oh, he's gone a little bit there. I think that's a slow down.
That's got to be a slowdown. That was a lot of corner taken there. It was looking really good.
Yeah, we did say it is a very lenient track, but I believe that, yeah, a little bit too much of a corner there for Sinkovic, but he's still in front of Ryan Price, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out here.
This will be a white flag for our first race here tonight for round 3 of the Shannons GR86 Nationals, as we see Ryan Price coming back at Steven Sinkovic right now. Didn't want to lose that spot, and he's going to fight hard for it as Jake Edwards comes across the line in P1 to take out Heat 1 tonight. Bruce White for LMR Esports will take out P2, and Mark Turner for K-Tech Motorsports will take out P3 for Heat 1 here tonight for round 3 of our Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools.
Yeah, followed them, we've got Steve Sinkovic in P4, and a happy man of Ryan Price in P5. That's an awesome drive from him. He'll be very happy with that. And the battles as well they had between the 3 cars of Turner, Sinkovic and Price was really good as well. And they kept it nice and clean, which is good to see. And also, Greggy Johnson went up 6 positions to P6.
Great drive for Greg Johnson. That's one thing we've got to keep in mind for tonight too. Sheafy is picking our driver of the day. So, mate, you take some notes and let us know who you think might be the driver of the day. So it's very hard when there is 3 separate races to pick one, that's for sure. And of course, viewers, you can get involved with helping us pick the driver of the day as well. All you got to do is shout out a driver and tell us why you think they should be the driver of the day and receive a congratulations package thanks to temptingsweets.com.au. As we see the grid come up now for round 2 of the Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals. Brendan Soper, thanks to the reverse top 10 grid, will take pole position. John McHenry in P2. Callan Hodgkinson, Kevin Wakefield will be in row 2. Wayne Edwards, Greg Johnson, row 3. Ryan Price and Mark Turner, row 4. Bruce White, row 9, and Jake Edwards, row 10. Everybody else will be on the grid to where they finished in the race before. Lights are, get set, ready to go racing, and we are off. Again, a very clean start for these 86s. They do seem to bog down a little bit and take a bit to get off the line. We'll be keeping an eye. Brendan, a little bit slow into that corner there and has allowed both McHenry and Hodgkinson to get around him straight off the start. If we move back further through the field, Soper is keeping off a pack of Wakefield, Edwards, Johnston, Edwards, Price. 4 wide. Contact made in the corner here. This is some extremely on top of each other battling right now. Greggy Johnston right in the midst of it with Bruce White on his left-hand side. Right behind him will be Ryan Price and Wayne Edwards, Brendan Soper, Jason Douglas. Look at this pack forming.
Definitely interesting to see the Bath boys try to make their way back in front of the grid. See the boys just going to single file here, which is obviously nice and clean. Good to see that there's no major incident on the first lap, so good on everyone out there as we're following Jay Douglas at the moment. Going on the inside as a move.
Oh, Wakefield's around and he's hit Johnston. Wakefield is around and has collected Johnston. Not sure what's happened there. We will get a replay at some point. Dan Bartouche has managed to sneak his way through and now he is up 7 spots. Ryan Price has had a little bit of an instant that's going to allow Bartouche to get around the outside. Wayne Edwards is going to go on the outside. One small mistake in these 86s will have the rest of the pack on top of you. Douglas now going 3 wide into this corner. Please don't, lads. Please don't do it. Douglas, really clean move there in front of Bartouche, now on the back of Price. Wayne Edwards still in this battle as well as McHenry and Hodgkinson absolutely fly away from the field. McHenry just set the fastest lap of this heat with a 59.13. So Douglas and Ryan Price side by side. Braking is going to be the big benefactor here for Douglas as he gets away because the Bluey machine had to get on the brakes quite hard there. And that's put Bartouche and Edwards right on the back of him as well. Bartouche down the side. Oh, Price has spun and just clipped the side of Bartouche. Bartouche has kept it. Oh, he's come back on track and he's taken Edwards with him.
This is unfortunate there. I think he thought he caught the car, but unfortunately maybe having the contact between himself and Dan just upset the car a little bit more and it went left, and unfortunately Wayne Edwards had nowhere to go.
Catching these cars I don't think is a thing.
You've got to be very skillful to do it, mate. You've got to be very skillful.
Once these 86s let go, it's really hard to keep track of him. I think the reason he's come back on track, to be honest, mate, with the speed they were moving at then, he's only cut across the grass ever so slightly. And even with his foot on the brake, he was never going to pull that car up before it hit the tarmac again. So really unfortunate for Ryan Price there, having a really good race in the first heat. Hopefully he can get back out on track as well as Wayne Edwards and get back out there and get racing. But John McHenry up 1 spot at the moment, sitting quite comfortably in P1. Callan Hodgkinson from Crisscross Racing, though, starting to barrel down on top of him. There is a 4.3 second between McHenry, Hodgkinson, and then, of course, our P3, Bruce White. Jason Douglas back only just a second off Bruce White. We know Douglas has a bunch of speed, really, really quick. We'll be catching his teammate quite fast, and then I'm sure they're going to want to use their drafting and teamwork to help push them through the field as we drop back to Steven Sinkovic in a battle with Mark Turner.
Yeah, with the track condition, the track has dropped down to, oh no, unfortunately Mark Turner's just spun there right in front of Sinkovic. I don't know if there was contact or not, but unfortunately for Mark, he has to, got a bit of contact from the front end too. Oh, too much of a curb.
You see that car lift up in the air. It was on two wheels. Not much you can do at that point.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. Just a little bit too much on the curb, and you don't really notice how much off the ground you are. And he would have put the feet on the accelerator thinking that he was good to go and just spun the car 90 degrees to the right, and that was it. Just very unfortunate there.
See just how far off the ground those wheels are. That's
something that you normally see at Knox Hill, mate. Not at the Austin Ring.
It's these cars though, so low center of balance, very short. It's easy to hit a bit of a bump and get those tyres up in the air. So Mark Turner is going to come into the pits, use his one fast repair, and hopefully get back out there and battle as Wayne Edwards is fighting his way back through the pack at the moment. On back of Johnson, he will go on the inside lane here down into turn one. Both braking at a very similar time. Johnson got taken a very much wider line. Edwards around in the same spot.
Why too much curve there? When you hit the sausage curve, lift up your, all you have to do is lift up one of your rear tyres, and that's it. Once you put the accelerator on, you're gone. So see John McHenry in the lead with Callum Hodgkinson. I think he's slowly trying to creep up to him, but John, quickest lap for his race so far at 59.1, so he gained 3/10 on Callum.
All right, we've got someone in the chat shouting out Bruce, stating in the first race he has made heaps of places, caught the leader and no errors.
Yeah, Bruce is doing really well at the moment, currently in P4 and only half a second behind Jake Douglas for P3, so we'll talk about Jake Douglas. He's gained 10 positions so far this race, so it's obviously good to see that he's recovered really well at the moment. The Cullum trying to chase down John McHenry. John McHenry is a very quick driver. I know for sure he has an ace up his sleeve. The chase
sneaky
coming around
plan B.
corner. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The chase with his teammate right trying to chase him down at the moment, and Dan as well catching up to the boys ahead of him as well. So this might be a very interesting battle for P3 once again with 13 to go.
Jace is also up 10 positions because of that reverse top 10. So that is a phenomenal drive for Jason.
Yeah, he made sure he kept it nice and clean at the start and just gained the positions when he had to. As you see, Bruce Wright really getting onto the back bumper with his teammate now.
This is probably where that teamwork comes in. They're probably going to want to push each other down the track faster and try and peel away from Bartouche, as Bartouche is actually starting to close that gap on the back of them. So it could be really interesting.
Oh, it's gone a little bit too wide there, Bruce. That would have been a 1X, so hopefully he hasn't gained too many of those so far in this race. As Dan slowly creeping up, he's slowly creeping up to Bruce, but not enough.
He's getting really close to the back of him. That drag assist is really helping. He's got right on the back. Now Bruce White is going to play the blocker here for Jason Douglas. Bruce White can slow down a little bit and position his car in the right spots just to stop Bartouche from making advances and hopefully allow Jason Douglas to get away, which is really great teamwork here.
Yeah, he's got to be careful as well not to allow Dan to make a mistake and let Dan to get past. But I think on raw pace at the moment he will catch up to Jace. There's enough time, there's 11 minutes to go. As you see, Dan's back out in that corner.
That was
nice and
actually a
smooth.
really smart move there. You see, he backed off, took the corner a lot nicer than what Bruce did. Don't think he got the run out of it as much as he wanted to, but Dan Bartouche is still in the battle here with Bruce White for P4.
Got a lot of pace, but he has the outside line. So Bruce is defending, a little bit too shallow there, and Dan is going to have a beautiful run coming into the second corner. Just picking and choosing his time right here. Ooh, good late braking from Bruce right there. Defended that really well there. Dan's just stuck behind him a little bit, but if he keeps his head cool, you know he has enough racecraft and pace to get around these boys. As you see, just trying to go onto the inside of Bruce. Back out again, just making Bruce go in a little bit deep. Try and set him up in the next corner. It's really important to make sure you set the corner up really well on the exit, because that's where you're going to make him brake a few times. As you see him on the back bumper, only 0.2 seconds, so he's sticking into the draft this time. Try to see if he can stick into it. Coming into the inside, he's got to make a move right here. Ooh.
Oh, it's copped a lot of that grass there. Be surprised if that wasn't a slowdown.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. He was a little bit hesitant of what Bruce did in that corner. Just unfortunate to see him pull back a little bit there, but it's still a good drive now. He's still within 1 second. And also as well as that, Jake Douglas hadn't gained too much time on the battle at the moment, so he's still got enough time to get past these boys for a podium position. As we see Jason on screen on the podium, 5.5 seconds behind Callum, but he does have a teammate and Dan behind him battling out for a position. Be interesting to see what these boys do. As we see, Callum Hodgkinson 2 seconds behind John McHenry at the moment. It was 1/10 quicker at the moment, but just not quick enough to catch up to him.
Once McHenry gets into his groove, we saw it here last season, very, very consistent driver. Doesn't make mistakes very often, but when he does, they cost him the whole heat, as we saw at Bathurst. Mr. McHenry had a phenomenal lead in Bathurst in Heat 1 and Heat 2, but some own mistakes caused him to drop rapidly through the field.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than just making a mistake, you know, when you're in the lead. I did the same thing last week in the second heat. I was in the lead coming to the second corner, just wasn't thinking straight, didn't have my head screwed on and just went too far wide, hit the wall, and every car went past me. See you later, P1.
You tried using some duct tape instead of screws, mate?
Oh, maybe. I haven't thought about that. Maybe super glue might help.
Duct tape and some zip ties, mate. They might keep that head screwed on for you.
As you see John McHenry with the lead at the moment, but I'm seeing the yellow data. Bruce White has caught up to his teammate ahead, and Dan is all over the bumper. Bruce White here. Look, Chase just went a little bit too far wide in that corner there, so that actually allowed Bruce to get right on his bumper as well. So the fight for P3 is still there at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what's going through Dan's head right now. See whether or not he will try and set up a move on these boys into turn 1.
He's keeping
Good
it
exit
very
there.
clean. Yeah, very clean behind him. This could be the run he needs, using both the draft off both these cars right now. This could be a phenomenal move here. Not sure he's going to get both. Is he going to go for both? I think he will,
both.
and he's going to get them.
But the question is that too much curve? We saw Steve Sinkovich cop a black flag slowdown for that. It would be interesting to see if he got away with that.
Looks like it's so far. He does have 40 seconds to serve that slowdown.
But that is a very impressive move to get both the boys on the same corner. Really brave there. As you see in the replay, Dan just on the inside of both of the LMR boys. And just said, yep, I got this. Thank you very much. Really good corner there. really good corner.
Great move by Dan there to round up both the LMR Esports drivers. But it's not over yet with still 6 minutes to go in Heat 2 tonight. Jason Douglas still not going to give it up that easy to Dan Batouche, especially with his teammate Bruce White on the back of him. They're going to be pushing each other now to try and get at least one of them up and around Batouche into that P3 position.
I think what Jace has to do is just let Bruce get ahead of him. I think Bruce been a little bit more consistent with his lap time, and most likely the challenges for Dan for P3 at the moment. As you see, Dan just slowly creeping further away from Jace Douglas. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they just bite the bullet and just let Bruce go for it, or just keep the same order at the moment.
It's going to be interesting to say, but you're not wrong. Batouche is starting to stretch that gap out. He is actually pushing a bit of time between himself and Jace Douglas, although Douglas is now going to have that slipstream benefit here. It's definitely going to get him right back on top of White. Batouche. This is the battle on track at the moment. Actually, I tell fibs, Jake Edwards is on the back of Brendan Soper now. The crisscross driver taking on Brendan Soper. They are going to go side by side down the main straight, down into T1. Jake Edwards does have a bit of a lead. Will break a lot later than Brendan Soper, and that will allow Jake Edwards to squeeze his way into P7, up 3 spots so far.
Yeah, with 4 minutes to go, we've got Ryan Price behind as well in P9 and Kevin Wakefield in P10, so these two boys behind we'll want to try and catch up and gain a couple of positions to get closer up on the grid. It is an invert top 5, so currently Bruce White is in prime position to start on pole for the next race. See, the battle P3 between Jake Douglas and Dan is still on, and Dan's doing a fantastic job to defend every corner he can so far. Jace is trying on the inside, but decided to go onto the outside. Maybe tried up and over, maybe. Nope, didn't work unfortunately there. Dan did a really, really good job there to make sure he just kept those 2 cars behind him, nice and clean. It's just good to see these boys race nice and clean and not make too much contact.
You also see the way that Dan held the defensive line in that corner. Douglas trying to get a really good run over. You could actually see the tyre marks peeling into the track where Jace was trying to keep the power down to stay on the back of Batouche. So that's not going to done Jace's tyres any good through that, trying to push it so hard to keep on the back of him, as Ryan Price now is on the back of Soper as well. Soper is possibly going to lose 2 positions here within a couple of laps if Ryan Price can get up there in the bluey machine.
And not just that, Kevin just got into the onto the back as well of Ryan Price under 1 second as well, so you'll get the draft as well. It'll be interesting to see what Brendan Soper can do here and how long he can defend his position for between the 2 quick boys behind him.
Yeah, definitely. The hard thing in these 86s is once you start losing a bit of time, it's very easy for the rest of the field to catch up to you. Mason Douglas still hounding Batouche in the front. You can see that on the timing tower there, only 0.3 of a second off the back of Batouche. It's coming down the main straight again towards turn 1. 2 minutes left to go here of Heat 2 of your Shannons Toyota GR86 Series, round 3, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools here at Red Bull Ring. If you are enjoying this broadcast tonight, I'd really appreciate it if you could let us know by hitting that like button and leaving us a comment telling us how awesome Mr. Tyler Sheaf is for coming on board and joining me in the comms box tonight for such a phenomenal race. Soper, Price is going to get around Soper. Price is going to break a little bit earlier, but that's going to give Soper a better run around the corner, and that's brought Wakefield into this battle as well.
Kevin looking left. He's gone for the double. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the double there, but no, instead he just got the one at the moment, right in front of Ryan Price. And now, oh no, contact between Price and Kevin. But there's, oh no, I thought they were going to keep going. That's just unfortunate there.
Really good driving from Ryan Price tonight. That is an unfortunate bit of overlap there that does happen in racing. Wakefield as well off the track. John McHenry coming around now will overlap them. But that leaves John McHenry for Locked On Lads Racing up in P1 with a massive 4.7 second gap back to Callan Hodgkinson for Crisscross Racing. Dan Batouche up 9 places with that beautiful double overtake on the LMR Esports drivers to get him up into P3. Jason Douglas, phenomenal drive for him as always, up into P4. Bruce White will hold in P5. And look at this, Mr. Steven Sinkovich from Team SRW Motorsports up in 6. 5 positions up off his grid start. Really good drive from Steve tonight. This is the white flag here tonight for our B main of the Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals.
That's very good for these boys. They have made all 21 laps, so that's good to see the pace out there. The track is cooling down a bit, so the boys can be a little bit more quicker than what they were earlier in the night. See John McHenry coming around the last corner now. Basically start to finish in the lead, and a fantastic drive from him.
John McHenry from Locked On Racing will take out P1 in our B main race here. Callan Hodgkinson from Crisscross Racing will take out P2, and Dan Batouche from ETS Motorsports will take out P3. Not without enough hassle from the LMR Esports drivers. What a great drive from all our drivers. Jason Douglas P4, Bruce White P5. Steven Sinkovich from Team SRW Motorsports will slot himself into P6. Jake Edwards from Crisscross Racing in P7. Brendan Soper for WEBS Sim Racing will come around now in P8 as he goes across the line. Greg Johnson will come around the final corner for Team Greg and lock himself a P9 finish. Wayne Edwards will come around the final corner and go across the finish line in P10. Kevin Wakefield, Ryan Price and Mark Turner will round out your finishing positions tonight. We do have a 5-minute warm-up in between Heat 2 and our feature race tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, take this time to go get yourself a drink, grab yourself some more snacks. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our other broadcasts. And I still want to know, who do you think deserves Driver of the Day now out of 2 races down? I am going to take a quick breather to grab myself a drink. Because, man, oh man, is this taking a toll. I need to get some lozenges. We will take a quick intermission. Actually, no. Hopefully, we are going to have Jake Edwards. Let's have a chat to Jake Edwards and John McHenry. Sheafy, you have the power to drag people in, mate. Will I go grab a drink? You want to drag one in and have a chat to him?
Yeah, I definitely will. First of all, I'm going to drag in the winner of the second heat, John McHenry. How is that out there, mate?
Yeah. Race 1 was a bit tough. Had to try and recover something out of that one, and lucky enough to start off P2 for race 2, and I suppose Cal and I got a little bit fortunate with a few incidents behind. We were able to break away, and then it was just put the head down and try and get the consistent laps to see if I could pull a gap on Cal and lead it all the way back if I could.
No, I think it was an awesome effort, you know. Like you, especially in the first heat, you know, we saw you in the pitch for 44 seconds, and you managed to stay on the lead lap and to recover to finish back in the top 10. I think that's a an enormous effort. But yeah, what's your plan of attack for the third race, mate?
Haven't got one yet.
Haven't got one yet.
Get out there and just try and. I think we're starting P5. I'm not actually sure where we're starting on this in the next one, but
Yeah, definitely P5.
probably just try and get around the first few laps without incidents, really, because it's tight. It's a short track, quick laps, and everyone's close together. So really, just try and stay clean for the first few laps, and then see where we finish after that. See how we can go to push forward if we can, if we're there.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go because there's only 2 minutes to go. But thank you very much for joining. Congratulations on the win, and good luck for the next race.
Get
Cheers,
out of
Sheafy.
here, John, not ShiBBy McHenry.
Cheers, ShiBBy.
See you, John. While we're at it as well, we might as well bring in Jake Everidge. Jake, you were the winner in the first heat. Congratulations. The second race, though, it looked a bit more tough than the first.
Just a little bit more tougher, mate. Ended up just getting squeezed into, I think it was Brucey's car, dude, at the start, and then, yeah, just got spun. Bit of a racing incident, but, well, things happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely tough out there. I know we just talked to John as well, and he had an incident in the first race where I had to put him all the way to the back, and, you know, he had to grind his way back into the top 10, but it can be tough out there with, you know, the close battles, you know. We've seen a few packs with 3 and 4, you know, driving as hard as they can to, you know, try and gain as many positions, but how do you find it out there in the packs?
In the packs, man, I find it actually reasonably pretty difficult to, like, if that makes sense. Like, the draft helps out heaps, dude, but, like, just trying to hit apexes behind cars when you're, like, right up underneath their wing, it's, like, near impossible to even see the apex. But it's good fun, man.
Definitely good to see you out there with the boys and having fun as well, but I'll let you go because under a minute to go, but good luck for the third race, shall I say, and yeah, hopefully see you back here afterwards.
Cheers, boys. It'll definitely be big sends from P7.
Go for it, Jake. Get out there and have fun, mate, because that's what it's all about.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, that was Jake Everidge in the room just then. The 2 winners from the race 1 and race 2, they're looking forward to the challenge, both starting in P5 and P7s. But in saying that though, they got a few quick drivers ahead of them, with Bruce White obviously starting on pole position for the first race with his teammate Jake Douglas out in second. So they got a lot to battle for to try and get onto the podium for this race.
That they do. All drivers now have a lot to battle for. We've seen this across all rounds so far, where we see 3 different drivers on the podium over 3 different races, which is keeping the points table so close to each other every week. So our warm-up session will end. We are going into our final 20-minute race here tonight for the Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Hope you are been enjoying this broadcast tonight as the grid will go live. Bruce White will take out pole position thanks to that reverse top 5 grid. Teammate Jason Douglas will sit on the grid next to him. Dan Bartush, Callan Hodgkinson, row 2. John McHenry and Steven Sinkovich in row 3. Everybody else will be lined up exactly where they finished in the race prior.
It'd be interesting to see what Steve Sinkovich doing this race, starting in P6. They've got a few quick boys ahead of him and a couple more behind him as well. They're going to try and make some gain early on in the first laps here, but the green light is about to tick off. And we're here in the car revs. The light is now going orange, 3, 4, green, and off they go. Good lord from all the boys out there. No big gains, everyone basically kept the same positions as they were in their starting positions. See, Bruce White unfortunately lost out P1, now in P2. Dan's knocked himself into P3. John is trying to go into P4 right now. Or Cullen is stuck on the inside next to him. they're a bit like magnets tonight between each other, John and Helen. As you see, Jake Edwards battling out for P5. He did say he wants to gain as many positions as he can in the first lap, and he has done that. He's gained 2 positions from the get-go. John McHenry unfortunately fallen out of the top 5 in 6 positions. And before you know it, it's almost the end of the first lap with Steve Sinkovic. P7 has lost 1 to Edwards. He's keeping a good job and make sure that Ryan Edwards is still behind him. I didn't realise there are 2 Edwards in the race.
Yeah, there's Jake and Wayne. That's actually why, because usually I have it just showing the surnames. But I've changed it to show the start of their first letter, so we know which Edwards it is. There is Wayne and Jake out there, long lost brothers. Look at this battle pack in front though.
Dan sticking on the inside.
Batusha's
contact.
around. Contact.
That's so unfortunate there. So unfortunate.
That is not what Batusha's going to want after a phenomenal drive in Heat 1 and Heat 2. We'll jump on board for a quick replay because a lot of things were going on just then. Car's going too wide. Oh, it's so hard to call. We're going to leave that up to race control. There was nothing in it. We jump back to the live action with John McHenry chasing down the 2 drivers from the Crisscross Racing team who are chasing down the 2 drivers of LMR Esports.
Yeah, the Crisscross boys got a lot to gain, the same as John McHenry as well. Bruce White and Jason Douglas taking the demanding lead, and at the moment Steve Sinkovic got the quickest lap of the race. Good to see him out there on pace. Yeah, he is the quickest so far. Currently P6 right behind John McHenry, who's within the battle pack.
Wow, he literally did do the best lap of the race so far. Well done, Steve.
Keeping it nice and clean. Good to see he has been improving over the time. Normally spins a lot, but it's good to see he has improved on track.
I haven't actually called him Spinovich in quite a while. I got to be careful because I'm going to put my foot in it. When I get out on track, he's going to give me absolutely hell. I can already see it. But he is closing this gap to the back of McHenry.
Yeah, he's doing an enormous job. As you see, Jake Edwards is finishing the quickest lap right now. He's getting quicker.
58.98. Wow. Has the track cooled down?
The track has cooled down. He did hit a 58 in the last race as well, so it's cooled down another degree since it started, so down to 31 degrees. So these boys here, they'll be able to push the car a little bit more compared to the start. 6 degrees difference, and these tyres will last a bit longer than normal.
Not that it matters too much in a 20-minute sprint race. 4 laps in already. Jace Douglas from LMR Esports leading the way, but there is a battle pack happening back here. Ryan Price, Wayne Edwards, Grant Johnston, all on the back of Steven Sinkovic now. This is going to be interesting.
Unfortunately, looks like Steve made a mistake and dropped a fair bit of time to the boys ahead of him, but it allowed the pack behind to become harness and try to catch up. As you see Ryan Price on the outside, he's trying to double overtake here. But Greg is on the inside. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for the undercut. And just sliding right behind him. But it's still a good move to make sure he overtook while Dan has approached back up to Ryan Edwards. And taking currently P9 at the moment.
Yeah, after
slowly
that
catching up.
unfortunate contact and spin, he's going to push hard, I'm sure of it. Try and make his way through these back markers. He does have the racecraft and speed to get through them, but while these guys are battling away as well, he's also going to keep that in mind. So this could be an exciting feature race here tonight. Jason Douglas still pushing away Bruce White, but now Jake Edwards coming down. He's going to split the LMR drivers straight down the middle, down the first straight, coming down into the first corner. The first straight. the main straight into the first corner, split the LMRE drivers and managed to take a double position and slot himself up into P1. But I tell you what, those LMRE Sport drivers are not going to take that lightly. They should be starting to work as a team as they're really side by side and rubbing doors with each other. The LMR boys are now battling out together.
They just got to be careful here because Jake Edwards just put another fast lap to 58.6. Yes, he did have the draft, but that is a very quick lap and it looks like it's starting to shoot him more and more as the track cools down a bit. He pulls out a bit wide there. Wouldn't not be surprised he might have got a slowdown.
That came up as an off track for me on my end. That came up as an off track for Jason Douglas there. So be interesting to see if that was a slowdown or not. We've just had a couple of people jump in and say, go LMR boys, good stuff. Well done, Jason and Bruce. Racing great. Keep it up. Go LMR. Good to see you guys out there supporting your teams and coming along and hopefully enjoying this broadcast. Because if you're not enjoying the broadcast, then you're not enjoying your team's racing. So thank you again so much for all of you out there coming along to SRW TV and supporting your teams and your drivers. Jake Edwards now still pushing that gap out to 1 second.
The front five are all within a second of each other. This is going to be an awesome battle. This is finally starting to come to fruition, as we did see a couple incidents in the first and second race that did put a couple of the drivers out of contention, but this is going to warm up. 7 minutes in, 13 to go, plenty of time for these boys to catch up and make a little bit of a stake for the podium. You can see the LMR boys chasing after Jake Edwards. Not just that, you also saw John Henry as well and his teammate Callum Hodgkin as well behind. So these boys here, they're chasing them down, trying to catch up as quick as possible to take the lead once again. These LMR boys, they're trying their best to try and catch up with Jake. Jake is showing all the answers at the moment, making sure that they cannot catch up to him too much, even though that they have to slipstream. Unfortunately, Callum made a little bit of a mistake here, falling out of the 1 second mark and John Henry behind. So it'll be interesting to see what these boys do. Jake Douglas is all over the back of right now. He looks like he's going to make the move on the inside, try and make a manage of being quicker. They've all set personal best with the 59.013 and 59.104. These boys, John Henry also is well in the 58 I just seen, so he's starting to warm up as well. He's slowly approaching these boys. Maybe might see a little bit of a battle for him. Oh, a little bit too much grass for my liking there, but might be a bit of a battle with all these boys for first and the last lap, I hope.
Could be, mate. Still a fair slog of a race to go with 12 minutes left of the feature race. And if you have a look just behind McHenry, you can actually see Callum Hodgkinson in Press Cross Racing as well, number 28, starting to slowly bridge the gap and catch up to the back of McHenry. This could become a 5-way battle for P1.
Not just that, well, there's a battle for P7 as well, with Greg Johnston, Ryan Everett and Ryan Price as well, all within 2 seconds of each other as well. As seeing them just going past the screen right now. And they're slowly catching up to Steven Sinkovich as well, so this could be another 4-way battle as well for one position.
That'll be 2 battles for P1 and P5 in the top 10.
That's really good. These boys are making sure that they steal the camera work off the boys at the front and making sure that, you know, hello, we're here, we're in the battle pack as well. It's good to see.
Try and share that camera around, hey.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. The Ryan Price, just at the back of these boys. He's been very quick tonight and he's looking all at the back of Ryan Everett. He's just trying to make as much time as possible. Into the last corner, coming in the exit here. unfortunately going to be a little bit difficult for him to overtake because Rain Average is behind Greg Johnson, who has a bit of draft as well. But all three of the boys have gained position from the get-go, which is good to see.
We drop back to Brendan Soper. Dan Batu still trying to make positions up after that earlier contact and the spin. Will take it to Brendan Soper on the inside down into turn one. Gets it in really nice and tight. Make that looks clean. And he will push cleanly away from Soper and move himself up into P10 now.
Yeah, we're just over the halfway mark now, and Dan just done his personal best lap just then, as we see Jake Edwards had Jace Douglas all over the back of his bumper right now. This is a very intriguing battle here, as Jace is, he thought about it, but he thought better not to stick behind him. Still got 9 minutes to go. So make sure he doesn't show all the cards up his sleeve, but you've got to be really careful though, because John McHenry is creeping up to his teammate Bruce White as well, so he's got to play the cards at some stage before he allows, oh no, Bruce has gone a little bit too far loose there, just lock up the brakes a little bit too fast, which allowed John McHenry to be all over his bumper now. And also just allows Callum as well to slowly creep back up as well. It's a good opportunity here. John thinking about the inside here, but no, he's just thought stay back behind, just set himself up.
John McHenry, Mr. Consistent, sitting in second place in the championship points at the moment. Did I get that
good
right?
extra there. It could be an overtake move for Jake Douglas as well, but he's staying behind the leader. But John McHenry definitely made sure that he took P3 off Bruce White. So now it's a three-team battle now for first position.
It is Jake Edwards, car 9 for Crisscross Racing. Jason Douglas in the car 88 for LMR Esports, and John McHenry in the car 117 for Locked On Lads Racing. These guys are heavily on top of each other. But Bruce White is coming back at McHenry on the inside run here. Gets it really nice through there, keeps the power down, keeps the car in a straight line, and will slot himself back in front of McHenry. As we see Jason Douglas showing the nose to Jake Edwards.
I think I've seen in the background Bruce White went a little bit too fast in that corner, lost his position to John McHenry.
That is true. McHenry has got himself around Bruce White again. And look at this, Callan Hodgkinson is now right on the back of Bruce White. He will move over, show the nose, get down the inside of Bruce White, gets in there real nice and tight, pushes Bruce right out to the edge of the track. Bruce did get a better run though. Callan is going to have to slot into the back right now and just hold on to that position. Still got plenty of time left to go, 7 minutes to exact, as we see Jason Douglas absolutely hassling Jake Edwards right now. This is your battle for P1.
And they're in a very good position right now. Jason's all over the back of Jake. He's trying to put him under pressure. There's a 4-second gap between second and third now because of the battle behind, so he has plenty of time and no pressure behind him to make sure that he picks the right corner and the right time to overtake Jake Edwards here for the lead.
Getting a really good run here. Look at the draft assistance he's getting. He's closing that gap every second. Oh, Jake copped a lot of curb then, got that car really unsettled, but he managed to get it wheels back down on the track and keep moving.
They're making sure that they're just keeping it nice and clean between each other, and they know that if they don't make a mistake, those two are in the prime position to take the win off in the final race, shall I say, at Red Bull Ring.
Something's happened in the back here. Bruce White has now dropped nearly 1.5 seconds off the back of McHenry, and Hodgkinson as well. I think the battling between Hodgkinson and White has actually allowed McHenry to start pulling a gap from them.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Bruce. I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but as you see, Jason is pushing Jake all the way down the main straight. I think Jason knows that he has enough pace to get around him, and he looks like he's going to try and save it for the last lap to make sure that Jake Edwards do not have an answer back.
He's definitely putting the pressure on now, mate. He's trying to make Edwards, you know, cause that little bit of a mistake. You know, pressure him. Keep making sure Edwards knows that Douglas is on the back of him and hopes that Edwards makes that tiny little bit of a mistake that's just going to make this overtake so much easier for Douglas. Bruce White got a couple of slowdowns. There we go. Thanks, Greggy Barber, for letting us know that.
Yeah, that makes sense there. It explains why he has fallen further and further behind John. Jace didn't get the best exit there. It looked like Jake Edwards had a really good exit and just maintaining position. So poor Jason Douglas has a little bit of catching up to do now.
Well, he's still on the back of Edwards, mate.
Not close enough, I say. Got to be real close at this track.
They'll be that close in the 86s because they don't have the power to pull away if someone else slots right in the back of your draft.
So it's going to be very interesting here. Playing mind games, only 3.5 minutes to go, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make the full 21 laps this time around. As we see Greg Johnson on screen, putting pressure behind Steve Sinkovich. Not just that, you had Wayne Everidge and Ryan Price as well, all within a second of each other as well. The four-way battle for P6 is very interesting right here.
Lots and lots of points in a super sprint series on offer, so any one position can make a huge difference towards the end of the championship finale, as Jake Edwards is still being hassled by Jason Douglas. These two young drivers are absolutely giving it all out here tonight on the Shannons GR86 Nationals. Steven Sinkovich, Wayne Edwards, what's happening back here? Oh, Sinkovich is on the back of Johnston. There's a four-way battle here now for P6. Out of nowhere.
I want to know what happened there to Steve. He was in front of him by a fair bit, and to lose that much position, see Ryan Price off Wayne Edwards, and beautiful move right there. As you see, he's keeping his eyes on Steve Sinkovich for P7 at the moment, and Greggy's a happy man in P6. He will be very happy to be in front of Steve right now. As it is 2 laps to go, 2 minutes to go, and the battle is still on for the lead. As you see, Chase Douglas still behind Jake Edwards, making sure he doesn't set all the cards. Coming down.
Price is going to make a move around Sinkovich down the inside into turn 1. Sinkovich will cut that move off really nicely there and stop Ryan Price from cutting down nice and neat and getting out in front of him. Great driving as the field has settled in after the first 2 heats now. Jake Edwards still keeping Jason Douglas at bay, and now they've got lap traffic to deal with. Brendan Soper will move over to the right-hand side of the track. Great display of sportsmanship there to let the leaders battle on through.
And they've still got one more lap after this as well. Looks like they're not the right flag.
Douglas.
So Jace tried to show the nose. It just didn't stick then. Didn't stick. Jake Everett did the right thing and defended his position really well there. I'll let you go, ShiBBy, mate.
Oh, I can go now. So you cover the rest of the broadcast for me?
I'm sorry, mate. No, man. Like,
I thought you said I could go. You were like, ShiBBy, you can go now. I'm like, all right, sweet. Shift's over. You take over, Sheafy. You got this, mate. I'm full confidence in you, bud.
You're the pro. This is Chase is all over the back. This is going to be the penultimate lap, shall I say. It's a final lap now. It's going to come over. Poor Jake Evans a little bit too wide there in the last exit there. Just allowed Jace. Oh, he's playing games here. He's playing
white
games.
Flag. Douglas will get the run though. But this could be a power play here from Edwards maybe. Maybe he wants to try and get that draft to give him a better run. It also could be that Edwards has burnt his tyres out trying to defend from Douglas.
I think he got a slow down for going too far out in the last corner there because he was tapping on the brakes to lock down the slow down. So that allowed Jake Douglas to gain over half a second, which would make Jake Edwards struggle really badly to try and get back into the back of him. As they're coming around the second last corner now.
Yep, slow down for car 9, which is Jake Edwards of Crisscross Racing. That is absolutely unfortunate with such a phenomenal battle going on between Jason Douglas of LMR Esports and Jake Edwards of Crisscross Racing. But Jason Douglas from LMR Esports will be your feature winner here tonight for round 3 of the Shannons GR86 Nationals. Jake Edwards with a phenomenal drive for Crisscross Racing will take out P3. John McHenry for Locked On Lads Racing. Sorry, Jacob will take out P2. John McHenry will take out P3 here tonight for your feature race.
Yeah, we've got Bruce Wright in P4. Unfortunately, missed out on the podium position, but he drove really well tonight, and he could, keep his head very high because these boys ahead of him are very skilled out there. Callum Hodgkinson in P5, and I'm very, very, very happy that Greggy Johnston has finished in P6 ahead of the pack as well, which is great to see him out there in front. Good drive from him, good to see him out there as well. With Ryan Price in the blue car for P7, was this Stephen Sinkovich?
Oh, the last lap, Steve! Last lap, Steve!
You was there too.
He was having such a good drive all night. I hadn't called him Spinovich once. And then he does it on white flag. What an unfortunate finish there for the Team SRW Motorsports driver.
That's very unfortunate. I've done that before. I've not spin out, but actually I hit the curb too much and went off track. It does hurt when you're driving such a good race on the last lap, and just unfortunate there for him. As we see the boys on the grid.
Oh, Jake Edwards is not there with them, but yes, that is your P1 and P3 tonight for our feature race. The LMR Esports car, the number 88, is Jason Douglas. And in the car, number 117, that is John McHenry from Locked On Lads Racing. Go on, Jace. Try and do a burnout.
Let's see what he does here.
I've bet people money that they can't do a line locker in these things. It's just not possible.
Look, you know how they do it. All you have to do is speed up to the first corner, hit the sausage curve, then go. Oh, here you go. Oh, that's a good effort there. There we go.
That's probably one of the best burnouts I've seen in the 86 series. They just don't have the torque. All right, feature results, I do believe, are locked in now here for round 3, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools at Red Bull Ring. For your Shannons Toyota GR86 Nationals, Jason Douglas from LMR Esports will take out that feature race. Jake Edwards for Crisscross Racing will take out P2. John McHenry for Locked On Lads Racing in P3. Bruce White, Callan Hodgkinson, Greg Johnston, Ryan Price, Wayne Edwards, Dan Batouche, Kevin Wakefield, Stephen Sinkovich unfortunately ended up in P11 from being in P6 that whole race. Brendan Soper and Mark Turner will pull up the rear of the grid, and Greg Barber was our phenomenal race steward tonight. What a absolute fantastic drive. Guys, let me know who you think should be the driver of the day, because we do need to let them know as well so they can receive their congratulations package thanks to temptingsweets.com.au. Use code SRW10 at checkout to get a sweet, sweet deal on those sweet, sweet treats.
Good driving from the boys out there. I enjoyed that tonight. A lot of battles amongst all of them through the grid. All 3 races as well, so it's good to see the consistency out there.
Sure is, mate. I do believe we have our drivers in the green room awaiting our attention, and we will jump on board with our P3 finisher tonight, Mr. John McHenry.
G'day, John.
Hello again, gentlemen.
Congratulations to obviously another podium for you. How was that last race out there, mate?
Yeah, that was pretty intense. That was some good fun. Like I said, I just wanted to keep it clean for the first couple of laps and avoid anything that happened, which a couple of things in front, and then had to push a bit to get back on the back of Bruce about 3/4 of the way through it, and just managed to probably a bit of pressure, and he ran wide, and I was able to get past him into P3, and I had to just try and keep the head down then, because a couple of laps to go, he really put the top blowtorch on me. Took over half a second out of me to be catching up, and then I think he made one little mistake, and I was able to just get back out to over a second clear of him. So yeah, it was no rest in those races whatsoever. Had to keep on it the whole time.
It was a phenomenal drive, not just for yourself, but all the boys out there as well, and to keep the battles nice and clean as well. You know, it could be very easy to make a mistake and ruin your night. But what's your thoughts on the Red Bull Ring, mate? Did you enjoy it out there tonight?
Yeah, look, I like Red Bull Ring. It's whether it's the full layout or this one, you can get some really good close racing in it. But this track certainly lent itself to this car racing this. Short track. You look at the top group of cars, they were all within sort of less than half a second of each other on pace through most of that, so everyone was running nice and close together and nice and quick, and just meant it was going to be some good close racing the whole night.
No, I enjoyed it very much. ShiBBy, do you have a question for John McHenry, mate?
When are you going to be not so consistent in the 86s?
I don't
At
know.
Bathurst.
Oh,
At Bathurst.
Belle Isle next week's going to be an interesting one.
You look forward to it?
I look forward to that one. I like Belle Isle, but there's concrete all the way around. We could see a few safety cars out, that's for sure.
Definitely, mate. And how do you feel about the Super Sprint series that we're running with the 86s this season?
Oh, look, it's going really well. I mean, it's partly due to the group of guys that are in it, that everyone's racing really good with each other, really close, but giving each other respect, giving each other space where it's needed and things like that. If it wasn't for that, things could go wrong and it could be a different story, but everyone's racing really well with it.
Good to hear, mate. We love hearing it straight from the driver's mouth, how much they're enjoying racing out here in the SRW League, mate. Congratulations on a podium finish tonight, mate. At this moment, you are sitting in P2 of the championship. Mr. Consistency last season with only one podium finish and a lot of top 5 finishes, did finish yourself in P2. So well done, mate, and let's see if that consistency will keep up through season 3. And now it is your turn to shout out your team.
To Locked On Lads, thanks for letting me be part of it to start with. It's always great fun, good bunch of blokes. As I always say, we don't have any sponsors, we're not looking for sponsors, but what we want to do is raise awareness for Cure for Cancer, and It Ain't Weak to Speak. Both are a couple of good causes out there, and both of them there to help the wider community, and it's great to have them around.
And it's Ain't Weak to Speak is such a really, really good one, especially in a community sort of format like this as well, where, you know, we all have our down days, and to be able to come along and race as separate teams. I see you guys every week up in the Discord. There might be 5 to 10 of you guys all just hanging out together from different teams and just getting out there and having a blast, blowing off some steam, and, you know.
Yeah. It gives everyone a good outlet to have a good laugh, get about any problems that are arising out there, and even if someone is having a bit of a downtime, everyone else gets around each other and picks them up, so it's good.
Yeah, mate. Well, congratulations again, and we love the causes that you and your team are out there promoting, mate. So congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you back here out on track next week for Belle Isle.
No worries, buddy. Cheers. Thanks for great stuff. Great broadcast.
Great stuff. Works for me too.
Good work, boys.
Catch you, mate.
Cheers.
That was John McHenry for Locked On Racing that will take out P3 tonight for our feature race as we move on up to P2. That will be Jake Edwards from Crisscross Racing.
How are you, boys?
Mate, I'm doing pretty good apart from I'm losing my bloody voice. But yeah, great race tonight, mate. Really solid across all heats, mate. How are you feeling after that?
Oh, yeah, I'm actually sweating. Bit tiring work, man. Just trying to keep the car steady under brakes, and then yeah, because you can't really push these things too hard, otherwise the rear just wants to go on you.
Yeah, really tricky little cars to drive, aren't they?
They really are, man. Especially if you hit the curb wrong as well. It just wants to send you.
You go.
Definitely. I was going to say, you were in here before the third race, and you said that you're going to gain as many positions as possible from the get-go. You took the lead for a majority of the race. I've got to believe that you unfortunately made a mistake and got a slowdown there. What was going on there after that?
Yeah, I think that slowdown just basically ruined it. I knew that Jace was like hot on my butt, so he was going to get me regardless, I'm pretty sure, man, or he was going to have a crack anyway. But yeah, that slowdown just basically gave him the win straight away. As soon as I got it, I just went, oh my lord, like typical iRacing stuff.
No, I think you did an awesome job there to get from 7th on the grid. With the talent of the boys ahead of you and how many positions you gained from the get-go. That's an awesome effort there.
Thank you.
It was great driving all night, mate. Definitely deserved of the feature second place, and I'd be interested to see the overall round podium, because it seems to happen each week in this Super Sprint series where there's 3 different people on the podium nearly every single race. So it's always an interesting one, mate. But absolute phenomenal drive tonight here for the Crisscross Racing team, mate. And it is now your turn to shout out the sponsors and the people that keep you on track.
Thanks, boys. I'd like to shout out you boys for putting on a good show. You always do good streams, which is nice. It's always good to watch back. Also, I'd like to thank CXR for having me, Shunt Scenery, Palmerston Bakery, Jennifer Russell Real Estate, Poolmaster Bayside.
Wait, did I just hear a new bakery?
Nah, it's still the same one, Palmerston Bakery.
Wait, who used to have the pies then? Whitey's Pies?
Oh, that was still me. That's a different team that I race for, so that's Whitey's Pies. Well, it's kind of like Whitey's Pies cross like
Crisscross.
CXR.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, but yeah, we don't have them on the car at the moment.
Oh,
so,
and they're based in Orange, aren't they?
yeah, Whitey's Pies
Yeah,
is based in Orange, and then Palmerston
blows my
Bakery
mind.
is based up in Northern Territory.
Oh, true. Wow. Widespread.
Yeah,
You
and-
guys must really like your pies.
Oh, we really do. Us Aussies, mate. Oh, and plus the Kiwi that runs it.
Bloody chalky
That Palmerston
milk
Bakery
and a pie.
Is, that Palmerston Bakery is Adam Hughes' dad's company.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so
Easy
beautiful.
sponsorship.
That's it. And easy pies to get.
Easy pies, yeah. Well, mate, you're going to have to get my address and tell Hughesy to ship me some old Frozens in a esky down this way. So
I
I
will
can,
let him know.
yeah. Get me some of those pies, mate. I'm trying to leech into a lot of the sponsors and get some freebies going.
I really don't blame you.
Well, mate, congratulations again. Phenomenal drive here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for second place for Mr. Jake Edwards of Crisscross Racing, mate. Congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you out here on track for Belle Isle.
Thank you, boys. I'll see you then.
Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you.
See you, mate.
So from P2, we will move on to our first place feature winner here tonight, and that would be car 88, Mr. Jason Douglas from LMR Esports.
G'day guys, how are you?
Good, mate. How you feeling after that? That was some pretty full-on racing all night.
Yeah, pretty pumped. Heart's beating pretty quick. Got a bit excited over the line, but yeah, good to get a win after getting destroyed in the first heat. So yeah,
Tell you what, Jake Edwards didn't make it easy for you, mate. And do you think without that slowdown that he copped, like on the last lap of all places, do you think you might have pipped him? Because it looked like he was doing a pretty good job of defending from you over like the last 3 laps prior.
Probably would have had a lunge, but probably would have went side by side, but I probably still would have got second. But it's pretty good that he got the slow down in my eyes, so yeah.
Definitely worked out in your favour, mate. And I tell you what, though, you two were battling phenomenally. Just that last race, mate, you two were backwards and forwards all night. Even with the help of your teammate, Edwards seemed to be just all over you guys. And once he broke away from you guys, you sort of pushed away from Bruce White as well to stay on the back of Jake, mate, and you just did not let him go.
Yeah, Bruce made a mistake. I had him come on comms in the LMR chat, and he says, "Oh mate, I'm out." And I said, "Oh great, here we go." I have to put the boot into it a bit more and catch Jake, and caught up to him. And I thought, well, we got to break away, Jake and I. So I just pushed him all the way, and then he just pushed it a bit wide at the last corner on the last lap and got the slow down, and that's how I got through. So
yeah, you took the Bradbury, mate. Took it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's racing. Hey, mate, you got to take those opportunities to get in front. If you have a driver in front of you that's blocking and doing so well to cover that line, you're looking for any little mistake that they make that's going to allow you to make it just that little bit easier to get around them.
Yeah, well, that's it. And yeah, sadly it was on the last lap, but it would have been a good race to the finish, I reckon, if he didn't get it. But yeah, otherwise, it's sort of redemption from Tuesday night. So yeah.
Look, mate, it was great driving from everybody out there tonight, and especially yourself. Congratulations for taking out the feature race tonight. It's going to be very interesting to see the overall round winners. As you know, tonight we sort of saw 3 different drivers on the podiums across 3 different races, so points are going to be extremely tight. But at this point, mate, you have only just joined. I was going to tell you where you sit on the podium, but you have only just joined the series in round 3, mate, so you do have a bit of racing to do to catch up. But I know with your skill and speed, mate, that you should do well, and we look forwards to seeing you come back. We missed the LMR Esports boys out on track. You guys were a dominant team last season, so good to see you back out here in the 86s, mate. Congratulations, and it's all up to you to shout out your sponsors that keep you out on track.
Okay, thank you. So we got Lodge Bros, Dubby, NZ Performance, Wayne Boiler Mechanical, Lutzu Driver Performance, Oakmares, Majors Garage, JM Designs, all the boys at LMR.
Oh, that's it. Sound like you were going to keep going.
No,
you had more. I was like, geez, you guys are getting a big list of sponsors going on. And it was a nice pickup to get Bruce White to come over onto LMR as well. Really, really good choice there. Bruce White has been an astounding driver across the series so far since I've been watching. So great pickup there for the LMR Esports team, mate. Keep driving the way you're driving, mate, and you're going to cause a lot of problems for people out there, bud. And even only joining into the 3rd round, you could still be up for, championship finish if you just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Congratulations again. And we 100% look forward to seeing you back out on track here next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I've got Sunday night to do and then Tuesday night, so...
Yeah, pro-ams, mate. Yeah, those V8 supercars. That's a very full-on series this season, isn't it? With so many cars hitting the track Tuesdays and Sunday nights.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult for Tuesday night. With 44 drivers listed, so see what happens.
Yeah, mate. Well, we haven't seen less than 30 yet, so I was sort of surprised with the turnout with the 86s tonight, but I'm feeling like Red Bull Ring people weren't that interested in, so... But
it's easy to get off tracks.
So that could be a reason so people don't enjoy it. But I tell you what, it put on some phenomenal racing here tonight, mate. Congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. And as I said, we look forward to seeing you out here on Sunday for the Pro-Am Series.
Yeah, thank you.
No problems, mate. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, that was round 3. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools here at Red Bull Ring for the Shannons Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals. This was our Super Sprint Series. And my oh my, is it really starting to heat up. Fantastic drive from all the drivers out there on track tonight. A huge shout out to, of course, all of you who joined us out there to watch this broadcast. Thank you so much for coming out here and supporting your team and your drivers. I'd like to give one last shout out to, of course, Shannons Insurance, Warren and Brown Tools, the promo department, Racecraft, Grim Industries, home of the V8 coffee table, temptingsweets.com.au, Rare Spares, and of course simrigs.com. I have been Nathan ShiBBy Howard. My special guest in the comms box tonight was Mr. Tyley Sheafy Sheaf, and we are going to end this broadcast by saying stay safe and race hard.